So a working session while all this chaos is going on. We're going to have fun, but I need people to break up into 4 groups. So instead of forcing you into 4 groups, let's just kind of gather together. Come to they're sitting around. Come on. Come on. One group over here. Come on. It's okay. I won't bite. I promise. One group right here. Stay right here. Sit right there. Right here. Right there. All right, I need 2 groups out of this group right here. Come on, y'all come over forward. It's going to be fun. I promise you'll learn something. I hope that you learn something. No? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Y'all come forward just a little bit because I'm going to break them up. Would you join this group? Come on in. Come on in. Join this group up here. Come on in. I can turn you. Well, there's a chair right behind you. All right, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I need you. Come sit. Come sit it. I promise you'll have some fun. And there's a group right there. Y'all need to close in, so you got to be able to talk. So close your ranks. All right, let's turn you around and do a circle. Come on in. Come on in, right here. Join us. All right, we got a good group right here. Join us. All righty. I know how hard this is with everything going on, but we're going to have fun. And we're going to learn something. So we're going to talk about experience. 4 different types of experience. And for a couple of moments, I want you to talk together about experience. So in particular, what I'm doing is this group is going to talk about the candidate experience with gig employees. So what should be and what shouldn't be the experience that we should provide folks in the gig economy, our candidates, people that want to work with us on projects. Okay? Discuss. This group right here, they're going to work on the employee experience. So post-onboarding. You've onboarded them, now they're an employee, but it's a gig employee. What should we be doing with a gig employee? The employee experience from a gig employee's experience. This group, I'm going to call my favorite group. Just kidding. This group right here is going to work on alumni. So alumni is defined as people that leave your firm. When somebody leaves, when you part ways with a firm, you're now an alumnus. It could be PwC or Deloitte or IBM or name a company, but you're now no longer there, and you've worked a gig at that company. So you worked a project at Siemens. You've been there for 9 months. Now the project's over. What should that experience be? Right? What should that experience be for alumni? So look at what we've got so far. We've got candidate experience, employee experience, and alumni experience. This group right here is going to solve for all of those experiences, but singularly around the gig economy on 2 things. What's most broken with gig economy players, and how do we fix it? Okay? So gig economy, let's define that a little bit. People that work projects, people that work for your company for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year. Freelancers are a part of this group. It's kind of the new economy of talent, right? I want to work with your company, but I don't want to work full time. So now that's called a gig economy, right? So why don't y'all solve, just talk. You're going to probably have to get close to hear each other. And
what's the biggest problems with the gig economy?
You're going to look at the entire circle.
Yep.
Candidate, employee, alumni, what's the most broken? And how do we fix it? So think about your own personal experiences or people that you know. They didn't get onboarded. They don't understand the culture. They don't know what the values are. They don't have communication systems that normal employees have. You know, like what's broken? And what do we do to fix it? Right? So y'all close in where you're going to hear each other. Good, 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 good. All right, y'all are working on the toughest one, employee experience. So this is from, if you want to think of the value chain, think about from onboarding to offboarding. So the very moment you bring them on to the very moment they part ways, what is that experience? And now instead of it being employees, it's gig employees. So it's people that have worked a project for you. They're working a project. What's broken? What should we be doing? How should we be treating them? How do we convey culture? How do we get them into the team? You know, how do we get them to think like the employees? How do we get a communication flow? How do we get them on Slack? Like, you know, like, what do we do to embrace them as employees all the way across? Onboarding to offboarding.
What they're really looking for is, you know, what am I getting over and above a regular job, and how that clarity comes through.
I love it. Okay, so candidates, the value chain of what is sourcing, recruitment marketing, and an ATS, or an apply for a job, right? It's everything before onboarding. So I got to find the talent. I got to market to the talent. I've got to then get them to take an action, like apply for a job or do something, right? Now, not just with employees, like full-time employees, but people that want to work a gig. They want to work 6 months for your company. They like your company, maybe even love your company, but they don't want to work full-time for your company. Or they want to work from Singapore, and it's an American company or a British company or whatever. So how do we engage them? Like, is the process different than a normal employee, than a normal candidate? So you're solving for those types of people, which is becoming a larger part of the talent pie. Come on. Come and join us. Come and join us. I'm going to show you what to do. You got another partner in crime. They're solving for the employee experience, for gig employees, for people that work projects. So if somebody wants to work for your firm but only wants to work 9 months, what should that experience be? And not be? Come on. I'll need a handheld once we start doing report outs in about 10 minutes. So it's all about the experience, right? But we're trying to, instead of solving for employees, which I think there's a lot of good discourse about, so this is the kind of the new talent. People that want to work for your firm, but they want to work on their terms. They want to work remotely. They want to work 3 days a week. They want to work on a project, etc. So we call it gig economy, which is probably a bad term. But these experiences, as I think you've already told them, they're working on the candidate experience, employee experience, and alumni experience. And y'all are looking at the entire circle of experiences and saying, okay, what's broken? And what do we do to fix it? And then we'll do report outs.
Okay, good.
But also, why is your
Come in. No, it's okay. You just want to sit? Okay. Any questions so far?
Now we're having a really
Have you solved all the problems?
we haven't solved all the problems, but we're finding out different perspectives.
That's good. We got about 5 minutes left, and I want one of y'all to tell the group what you learned. Okay? So pick somebody, or I'll have to pick. Have we solved all the world's problems? Have we solved all of them? World poverty? We've got poverty done. AIDS. We got AIDS taken care of. All right. So about 5 minutes left, and then I want one of you to stand up and tell the group what you learned, and just in basic form, so that we all learn from what y'all talked about. Okay? How are you? Now, have we solved all the world's problems? Have we got it all solved? It's all taken care of?
I don't know whether we solved, but we are sharing,
Good. That's all that matters.
what's happening in each of our
That's all that matters to me. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left. One of you, I'm going to ask you to stand up and then just tell the rest of the groups what you learned or what you talked about, which is fine. Yep, I'm going to give it back.
There is a gap between the values and also because they tend to be too performance oriented. So is there some way that we can align these?
I should sell them.
Your performance judged based on how much you believe in the values, how much you act upon those values. I think if we can sort of bridge that to make it, hey, if I believe in those values, I'm going to get rewarded for that. Then at that point, I feel like the disconnect disappears, right? So people believe in it. Well, I guess because it's performance oriented, and also they start to learn it as well, right? So I guess the question is, how do we bridge that gap?
Okay, so about 3 or 4 minutes left. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jeremy, I'm going to ask you to do it first, and use the handheld mic, and tell the rest of the groups what you learned or what you talked about. Sure. Okay, so that we can all learn what you learned. Jeremy's got a mic, so we're going to use his. So we'll just make his mic hot when we start, because they're going to stand up and report out in each group. So I'll take his handheld after he's done and just move it around. Okay. Use a different one? Aye, no problem. Okay. You just tell me when it's hot. Okay. All righty, y'all. We're going to do the report out. We got about 13 minutes left, so it's time to learn what you learned. Okay? So here's what I want to do. We're going to start with this group right here. We're going to go backwards. Okay? So y'all are going to be the last. We'll start with this group right here. So, Jeremy, they told me to use this mic.
I have one here, so
That they told.
I'm the MC.
Okay.
All right, so basically for our group.
All right, everyone listening? Y'all, everyone turn around and pay attention to Jeremy for just a sec. I know it's hard to hear. Come on in. Hey, you. Come on in. Everybody come in. This is going to be good.
I promise I'll be loud. I'll try to be. All right, so for our group, what we were talking about was the entire experience. So from candidate to employee to alumni, how is that entire process from a more macro perspective? How is it broken? What's broken about it? And then how do we fix it? So I think one of the points that we mentioned, firstly we talked about whether there is a candidate experience at a gig level, sort of job, right? And we agreed that there was, because in every sort of job that you take on, there must be some way that you're assessed. There must be some way to say that, hey, you're good enough for the job, or no, you're not good enough. And that's the candidate experience, right? So what we went on to discuss was then there is a gap between full-time employees and gig employees. And the reason for that is gig employees tend to be somewhat transactional. You mean they're with you for a month or 2 months and then they get paid and then they leave. So with that, it's very hard to engage them because it's so transactional, right? And we were sharing about, Meenakshi's experience at a manufacturing company that where employees tend to be very performance oriented and tend to not, forget about the values that the company holds. So then we went on to discuss how do we bridge that gap between something that's more performance oriented, something that's transactional, and something that's more engaged, values, something that's more soft, I guess. And we don't have the answer, I'm going to tell you that, but I think these are the things that we talked about. So I can't tell you that we've got an answer, but yeah.
Round of applause. Excellent. Thank you, Jeremy, and your group. I need to borrow your mic. Sure, I'll bring it back to you, though. All righty. All right, stand up. This is the group that was working on alumni experience.
Okay,
So
our
sorry.
group,
Y'all come in.
yeah, so our group is talking.
Speak louder.
Yeah, can
Yep.
you hear me? Okay, so our group is talking about gig employees, the experience from alumni. And one of the things that we shared within the team itself is that a lot of times some organizations, first of all, they are not open to certain concepts of rehiring. So they may not invest on alumni, okay, to begin with. And they don't see the value in that sense. But for us, I think we also come from organizations that are very, they have a strong belief in alumni, especially in a gig economy whereby people come and they can come back and they bring a different experience altogether. But to automatically enroll everybody to alumni is not possible to engage them at that same level of experience. And when they don't have experience that is good, they may go out and say something else about the organization. So one of the things that one of the organizations have shared is actually more on the fact that they categorize the alumni. So they have when at the point of the person leaving, they kind of look at it and say, okay, this is one group that we want to invest a little bit more time in it. And they form networks and they get the business people to be in touch with these people. They get them to come back for events and all that. And so that, if let's say there's a time where the individual wants to come back, they will open the doors for them. That's basically it.
Excellent, 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 excellent. A big point here that they made that I want to kind of make sure we double make is the alumni are a part of your employment brand. Okay? So we typically think about the candidates and how their experience, or employees, or what their experience is, and them getting on and telling other people about us. But when we part ways with people, what we call alumni, they have a massive part of who we are, what gets said in the marketplace when we're not there. They have a massive voice. So treating them well is good business. All right, over here to the employee experience. Come on in.
Yeah, so it will be short and crisp. So these are the three aspects we have
Speak
discussed.
up louder.
So we will stop doing, we actually stop doing. We are right now. We are relying too much on on technology we have in hand. That human touch is somehow getting unnoticed. So what we will stop doing is relying too much on technology and start working on the human touch, which is there, on building the relationship. That is what we're gonna stop. What we start doing is the constant feedback. That is really important for an employee. And what are the things which we should continue doing is building brand as an employer. So focusing while we are there as a employee in one particular organization, we have a responsibility to make that particular brand bigger. So that will be our 3 focus areas. Thank you.
Awesome. A big hand of applause. Not easy. One of the things to think about, who's on our team over here? All right, give me just 1 second. One of the things to think about on the employee experience that they talked about was feedback. Feedback is not the old way of how we want to do feedback. Like we want to go get feedback once a year. Now employees want feedback constantly, right? So it's not the way that we want feedback, it's the way that they want feedback. And let me give you a stat that's going to blow you away. Millennials, right? We're all familiar with the phrase, right? Age 38 to 23 have a 12-second attention span on average. Gen Z, 23 to 8, which both my sons are in that generation, have an 8-second attention span on average. We've lost 4 seconds of attention span in one generation. So, again, how does that relate to everything we do experience-wise? In feedback, they want feedback real time. How am I doing right now? Whereas we used to do the employee survey once a year. How you doing? Well, how's the company doing? Once a year. Those days are gone. We have to meet them where they are, okay, and meet them in the way that they want to be met, right? Okay, let's hear about the candidate experience.
Right, so we discussed about how the gig economy is definitely growing and how companies need to attract the right gig players for us. And for the experience for them, some of us, Sanjeev mentioned, we want to give them the best experience. We wouldn't want to differentiate between full-time employees and non-full-time employees or gig players. And then also there's a question where what about employee benefits, right? Will we give the same benefits? So there's always 2 sides of the coin to balance. So
very good point.
To sum up, overall what we learned is that to attract the best gig players, you have to allow them to see that they are able to marry their abstract and the absolute reality. In other words, they have a sense of purpose. This is millennials. They have a sense of purpose. They want to see it in real world. How can your company allow them that channel to realize to bring their abstract thoughts into reality, and that helps them. It's a win-win. It helps the company and it helps the individual as well. So really giving them very clear deliverables. We think that's something companies need to start doing very, very, very clear. I like your point on giving them feedback constantly. So how would a company evolve and be able to support this kind of ecosystem where gig players can thrive, and it's a win-win as well. All right.
Congratulations to the Candidate Experience Group. Thank you all very much. Okay, so a couple things before we depart. Doing group work in this type of environment is not easy. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for doing it. It's hard because of so many distractions. I get it. The thing about the experience that I want you all to leave with is the experience of your favorite restaurant or your favorite hotel. My favorite hotel is the Ritz-Carlton, okay? So the Ritz-Carlton, let me see, my first experience with the Ritz-Carlton was Santiago, Chile for a wedding. I checked in with my wife, they sat us down, and they got to know us, and they're asking us questions. What's your son's name? What kind of things are you into? What do you like? What do you not like? And it wasn't just a swipe a card, get a key, and go to the room. It was an experience. From the moment we got out of the car to the moment we got to the desk, we sat down and it was an experience, carefully constructed. Fascinating. We go out, shopping, whatever, come back, and I'm on the observation deck, and a guy walks by me and goes, Mr. Tincup, would you like a bottle of Evian? I know you like your water chilled. and he handed me a bottle of Evian. He not only knew what type of water I liked, he knew I liked it cold, and he knew my name. So what, and this was 2005, what did they have to do infrastructurally to make that happen, right? That's what we have to do with candidates, employees, and alumni. We have to think of our process, we have to think of our technology, and we have to change our mindset, especially because the talent is changing their mindset, okay? So thank you again for coming today. If you can, arrange your chairs as best you can back in rows, and thank you so much for being here. Y'all have a great day.